Linda Edelwich with William Ravis Real Estate, and we are 1 week away from Thanksgiving. This year has flown by so fast, and it's been really a surprising year in terms of just real estate in general, with the limited inventory and the skyrocketing interest rates from where we were at the beginning of the year to where we are now. Wow, what a roller coaster we're on. And we just dipped with the interest rates. So the interest rates are right back down around 6.5%, if not just a little bit lower. So if you've got that great credit score and you're putting 20% down, you're probably looking at a really great interest rate. So if you're a buyer and you were thinking, hey, I don't want to do the 7%, you might want to call your mortgage person and jump back in there. There's really favorable situation here for you as a buyer. You have more choices, as we are seeing just a little bit of a buildup of some inventory as we're going into the end of the year, which is a little unprecedented because we've had very limited inventory. So and when I say that, we still have limited inventory, even though it's ticking up just a little bit, it's still nowhere near the normals, okay? So just keep that in mind. Right now we have 43 single family homes on the market, of which 16 are those same new construction that we've been seeing ticking around. That leaves 27 pre-loved homes ready for the market. And if we do a look back of 90 days, and when I'm working with my clients, I'm looking back just 90 days just to get a real understanding of what's happening with the market right now. Because like 6 months ago, even 9 months ago, that was a different market. So we really have to look kind of more closer tolerances to see where we need to be priced. And I'm going back 90 days. If I was to go back 90 days in Glastonbury, our average price that's selling is about $462, and the average price per square foot is $222 a square foot. Wow, okay? And I want to say new construction is, in and around that $285, $290 range, just to kind of give you an idea of where we were. All right. So if you're a seller and you're looking at, putting your house on the market, if you have to put your house on the market right now, it's a great time. You really have less competition. You are still getting over ask if you're priced appropriately, your house has been prepared, and you have a house that checks the boxes. It has the updates and it has all those bells and whistles that buyers are looking for. Okay, what's this piece of paper that I've been holding on to? Like I said in my post, I take a look every single year, a couple of times a year. I want to see what price point is super hot in Glastonbury. I want to see how much over asking typically they're going for. That helps my sellers understand where the market is and where it's shifted. And I have 2021's information, and I did year to date for 2022. I think this is super interesting what I learned. So right now, year to date, we have 313 houses that have closed. Yes, there's more houses under contract, but they haven't closed yet. So I'm only looking at closed data for the entire year. So 313 houses of the different price points. And I'd look at 100 to 200, 200 to 300, 300, and so on down the line. The houses that have sold the most price point, that has the most amount of movement right now in terms of closed sales, was 400 to 500,000. I thought that was super interesting, with 448,000 being the average, and they're selling at about 104% over asking if you look at the full year. Now, last year, the number one sales price for last year, we had 490 single family homes that sold, with 130 of those houses in that $300,000 to $400,000 price point. So that was the number one price point, the number one moving number that we saw last year. And they were selling at about 105%, so 5% over asking. This year, there are only 70 houses in that price point, and they're at about 4% over asking. So last year, overall, houses were about 6% over asking. We're seeing overall this year about 4% over asking. I think people are really shocked to hear that when you're hearing all the negative news and you're hearing, that the interest rates are stopping buyers from being out there. That's not necessarily true. That's not what the data shows. That's not what we're seeing. We are seeing a little bit of a slowdown. Oh, absolutely, we are. I think that the showing time for the Northeast had about a 10% drop in actual showing activity. And think about it, with interest rates being at 7%, if somebody was just teetering in the market and at a particular price point, they got priced right out of that price point with the 7%. So as we start going down with the interest rates, and we're back at the 6.5% and hanging out just a little bit under there, we might see some more buyers come back into play. It's being predicted next year that we should see overall a 5.5-ish price point settle in. Now, is that gonna happen? I mean, who's to say? I don't have a crystal ball, you don't have a crystal ball, and the people that are predicting this, they don't have a crystal ball. They're just kind of looking at, the leading indicators, trying to like gauge where we are. So let's just wait to see what we have for next year and make decisions based off of real numbers. But if you're a buyer or a seller, this is the bottom line. This is what you should understand. If you have to sell right now, or if you have to buy right now is a good time for you, right? Because this is the time. We are not a secondary market. We're not a vacation market. We have meat and potatoes, people who need houses, and housing is essential, and they fill a need, they solve a problem, and that'll always be the case. So whatever time of the year that you're going to sell your home in Glastonbury, it's gonna be the right time, because it's gonna be the right time for you. So let's just look at it that way. And I think, when we look at it that way, you just make smart decisions, right? Because you're not trying to predict the market or gauge it, because it's probably not gonna work out for you. All right, well, have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you right after Thanksgiving.